Hi, I'm Dana, and I have a very big fear that this video is going to become really controversial and people are going to be like shouting at me in the comments. So I do ask that you hear me out and try to, listen to what I'm actually saying and not just like the specific words and stuff. Like, try to hear the message that I'm putting across. Because this has been on my mind for a really long time and I've been very nervous to approach it in a video. I've been deleting lots and lots of comments. I've had a lot of comments that have made me feel so uncomfortable that I've straight up considered like deleting my entire channel and just not doing this anymore because it's gross, okay? So I do want to start out by saying that obviously the vast majority of my comments are very nice. They're interesting, they're people like sharing their experiences, men and women. The vast majority of my comments from both men and from women are very nice. It is generally like a community space where people communicate with each other and we talk things through, and I really enjoy my comment section the vast majority of the time. And a lot of my comments do come from men that are perfectly, like, y'all are smart, y'all are insightful, you help me out. Like, this is not a video attacking men in any way. I am aware that it's not all men, like, as much as it shouldn't need to be said, because you should be aware that when we're saying, oh, it sucks when men do this, if you're not a man doing that thing, you're not the man we're talking about, you're okay. I don't feel like it should need to be said, but I feel like it often does still need to be. So as you can probably tell from the title, the main types of comments that have inspired this are the ones that go into detail on how it's actually so much more difficult to be an autistic man than it is to be an autistic woman. And it just boils my blood. It pisses me off to such a degree that I really cannot put into words how much it annoys me, because it's one of those things where, I'm sorry, no it's not. Like, I'm not saying it's more difficult to be an autistic woman either. I'm saying that they're completely different situations, It's kind of like saying, oh, it's way more difficult to be a bull than it is to be a fucking fridge, and it's like they're completely different things. Like, you can't compare the two. They're completely different experiences, they're completely different, all of the context around them is different. Like, they are not the same thing to be compared, in my opinion. And I also think it's so vastly just forgetting how different everybody's experience of being autistic is, Like, even with the people that heavily relate to the things that I say online, there will be people that don't relate in the slightest who are also just as autistic, It's so invalidating to have someone assume that your experience of living is just so much easier than theirs based on such a simple thing, when the truth of it is that autistic men and autistic women, we're not all that different most of the time. We have the same differences that we have between being different people. The gender doesn't really play into it all that much, and I think that the areas where it does play in, it's often they're different struggles. I don't think it's necessarily that one's easier than the other or one's more difficult. They're just different struggles. To just bring up an example, obviously there's sort of a stereotype, an assumption, a societal reading of some sort that autistic men, some of them oftentimes, can be very creepy. We've seen it in media, we've seen it in many stories, we've seen it in all sorts of different areas, we've seen it a lot online, where people just perceive autistic men as incredibly creepy when the reality is that they're anxious, they're a bit awkward, they're not sure how to navigate the social situation. And that's not something I feel I've personally experienced in a very long time. And when I did experience it, I think it was because of that phobia more so than because I was autistic, That is a completely different type of struggle to any that I've experienced. It's not one that I understand. But I also quite often experience the opposite thing, where people are very interested in me and see me as the manic pixie dream girl that's going to fix all of their issues. And, it's the different side of things. But I think it's a very... I can't think of the word, because it's not similar per se, because like I say, they are completely different things to go through, but I feel like they're things of equal difficulty that are experienced, that stem from the same place, but just because we're different people, we're experiencing them in different ways, But obviously that's only one example that I can personally think of, because I don't have those experiences. They're not my experiences. They're not things I can pull up examples from times I've experienced them, because I haven't. I'm not a man. That's just the fact of things. So I don't want this video to be focusing on autistic men's difficulties, because I don't know about them. I have not experienced them. But I would like to put into discussion some of the difficulties that I face as an autistic woman, specifically online. Obviously, I've made videos about my gender in the past and it's all a bit and I don't really consider myself a woman, but I'm also very aware that I am like femme presenting and I look like a woman, so people are perceiving me as a woman, and it doesn't really bother me all that much, to be honest with you. I do prefer they them pronouns for anyone that wants to use them, but it doesn't really bother me all that much. I don't really care. So the first thing that I want to bring up, because it's by far the thing that makes me most uncomfortable online, is the way in which I'm sexualised, quite often for no fucking reason. Obviously, this is something that all women face online, I would say. I don't feel like there's a woman that doesn't experience it at some point in some way, even if it's just one comment. Men just seem to think that it's okay to completely over-sexualise women online for doing the slightest fucking thing. And obviously this is where I can draw my own personal experience. So for example, about 2 years ago now, one of my friends over in the US sent me over some really cool pattern tights, lots of fun different things. I did a little video of like, here's me styling my fun new tights. I didn't know there was a whole fucking tight fetish going on, did I? So all of a sudden my comments are absolutely flooded. Like that at the time was my most viewed video, and I had just like dozens upon dozens of comments about my body, about the way that I behave, about how adorable I am, about how cute I am, and it just made me feel sick scrolling through and deleting them, you know? And there's probably some still there, because I got to a point where I just couldn't fucking look at it, because it's so bizarre to me that, like, obviously I don't think anyone should be just randomly sexualized. I don't think that, like, you know, it's okay at any point. But I also have, you know, it's one of those things, I never want to like victim shame. I never want to blame another woman for any situation that she ends up in, because I don't think it's her fault. It's the fault of the men that aren't being able to respect her appropriately. But obviously, as like a femme presenting person, we also know the ways in which we can try to protect ourselves from it a little bit and things like that. And as such, I'm quite a modest dresser, you know, like I don't really show an awful lot of skin. I had tights specifically because I was like, oh, I can wear shorts and skirts and stuff without showing my legs. And it's so bizarre to me as someone who doesn't talk about sexual content, doesn't dress in a sexualized way, you know, like nothing about my content on me online should be making you think about sex or fucking me, and yet here we fucking are. And it's one of those things where like I kind of got it on the tight video. I was like, oh, there's like a whole fetish around tights that I wasn't aware of, and all these, it's brought them out, like, okay. I receive comments on these types of videos, these ones where I'm just sitting down and talking to a camera, and people are like, wow, like specifically comments that have stuck in my brain are, wow, Dana's so funny and sexy. I got one a few weeks ago that absolutely shit me up for the day, of someone saying, wow, you're so sexy and beautiful, Dana. I can't wait to see you in a few months. And I'm like, do you mean you can't wait to like see how I develop in the next few months? Or are you going to show up at my fucking front door? Like, that is scary, okay? I've gotten some lengthy comments from men telling me exactly what they would do to me if given the chance. And like, I'm convinced that they thought it was like romantic, or like I was gonna reply to them and be like, oh my god, please do. But like, it's not welcome, okay? I'm not running an OnlyFans, like, you know, and also, like, don't leave fucking creepy comments on girls' OnlyFans either. But especially when it's like, there is no sexual element of my content here. Why are you saying these things? And obviously, like, I've replied to some of these and been like, that should have been an inside thought. You've made me really uncomfortable now. Please don't say things like this. And they get so defensive and like, I'm autistic. I don't know any better. I didn't know that would make you uncomfortable. I didn't know this, this, and this. And it's like, I'm sorry. I'm not the first person you've commented on like this type of comment on. I highly doubt I'm the first person to have called you out for it. Learn, okay? Adjust your behaviour. I don't feel like it's all that difficult to fucking Google what's creepy to say to somebody online, okay? And then don't say it. It's incredibly uncomfortable. It feels honestly somewhat dehumanising. Like, you know, like I am sharing vulnerable fucking information about my personal life here. I'm doing my best to try and help people out, and it's all, you know, I don't want to say that I'm an intellectual, but it's intellectual content to some degree, you know? And rather than listening to the things that I have to say, rather than hearing the message that I'm putting across, people are just going, oh my god, you're a sexy babe, aren't you? And it is just so fucking weird, okay? I've also had the comments when I'm talking about my own experiences of facing abuse, having to like try to leave abusive relationships, being abused by my family and things like that. I've had the comments where people are like, where men are like, well, men face these types of things too. Men go through these types of things. Men can be abused too. Men experience mental health issues too. And it's, again, just kind of bizarre to me, because I never said they fucking didn't, you know? Like, I thought I was making that content and sharing those experiences in an attempt to help people. I don't feel like it's a gender-specific topic, you know? Like, I totally agree that men go through abuse, men experience mental health issues, men can be taken advantage of. I don't in any way disagree with that sentiment, But I also wasn't saying in the video that it exclusively happens to women or that it only happened to me because I'm a woman. You know, like, gender just was not the discussion there, it was the behaviour that's being faced. And it's real odd to me that you would choose that moment to bring those types of things up, because it just makes it feel like you're invalidating my point based purely on the fact that I'm a woman. And oh, well, it happens to women all the time. We're sick of hearing about it. Talk about it happening to men. That doesn't get talked about very often, so that's finally interesting. And again, it's the type of thing that, like, yeah, I totally agree it should be talked about more. I would love to see those support systems put into place for men in the same way that they're there for women. But the fact of the matter is, it does statistically happen less. Although I would argue on that point that it probably statistically does happen more often to autistic men than it does to non-autistic men, or like neurotypical men or whatever, you know. And also, again, like, I'm only talking about my experiences. I make it very clear that that's what I'm doing. I can't talk about what it's like to be abused as a man. I haven't been abused as a man. I've never been a man. I don't know what that's like. Like, I started making videos because I didn't see anyone relatable to me online. I wanted to, like, fill that gap and provide it to other people, because I felt real fucking down about not being able to find it for myself. And I was like, at least if I put myself out there, the other people that are also looking for the type of content I'm looking for will see it, and then I'll find the people that I'm looking for. You know, if that's the type of content you're looking for, if you want to hear more about autistic men talking about those experiences because you've been through it as an autistic man, maybe fucking do that then. Like, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm not what you're looking for, and I don't know why you're trying to, like, shit on me for not being what you're looking for, you know? I also think it's very, very difficult because I'm at a point in life where, like, I do have an issue with men, you know? Like, I know people love to resort to, like, the whole, like, oh, you're a man hater. I'm like, no, I really am not. But the fact of the matter is, every experience that I've had with a man, every time I've become, like, emotionally or intimately involved with a man in any fucking way, he's fucked me over. He's been shitty, he's been horrible, he's hurt me, he's lied, you know, it's not gone fucking well. And as much as I don't want that to, like, tinge my view of all men, because I'm very aware that everybody is a different person and I'm not going to have the exact same experience with anybody, but it has definitely made me more wary of men. It has definitely made me more afraid of men. It has definitely put me into a position where I don't have the same level of immediate trust towards men that I do towards, like, women and non-binary people. It's just not there. I don't trust y'all, you know, and I have repeated experiences that have put me into that position. I didn't decide to not trust men. I wasn't like, fuck y'all. I've been repeatedly mistreated by men my entire life. That's gonna give a bitch some trust issues, innit? You know? And as we approach the end of the video, I do want to drive home again that these comments are, I was gonna say they're few and far between, but they're not. I get them on a semi-regular basis, all sorts of, like, really weird or gross comments, okay? But that being said, like I said at the start, the vast majority are very nice comments to receive. They're interesting, they're fascinating, they drive a discussion, they continue, like, the discussion that I've started. The vast majority of comments, for men and women, are great comments that I really appreciate getting. It's just that when I do get shitty comments, when I do get creepy comments, when I get the comments that make me uncomfortable, it is nearly always from men. And not only that, but I am receiving, like, more and more comments on a more regular basis of people trying to tell me that I actually have it really easy just because I'm a woman, and I need to just, like, stop complaining online because I have it easy because I'm a woman and it's so hard being an autistic man. And I'm just like, maybe we all struggle in man. Like, maybe it's just fucking hard to be autistic and gender doesn't play that much into it, you know? And I do think maybe that comes partially from the fact that, like, I don't really get gender. I don't really feel like I experience, like, an internalized perception of gender. I don't know. I have whole videos about that shit if you want to go and watch them. I'm so done with speaking right now, and it's one of those where, like, I don't like making these videos where I notice at the end that I've actually gotten really quite angry. But I also created this little space online to be my safe space and to be the space that I enjoy being within and being able to have discussions within. You know, and as much as I'm aware, like, that's how the internet is, I don't feel like it should, like, I should have to watch it slowly become a space that does make me kind of uncomfortable, where I do feel, like, quite a bit of anxiety opening up my comments to even see what's there, because what if they're really fucking weird again and someone saying they'll see me in a few months, you know? I don't always feel all that safe online as I gain a bigger following, and that's, you know, somewhat on me. I do need to figure that out, but it's also like, why are you commenting these weird ass things, and then especially trying to claim, like, oh, you're autistic and just don't know better. Like, you know better and you can learn better, and please just stop fucking doing it. So with all that being said, please do comment if you have normal. Like, it doesn't even have to be normal, to be honest with you. I'm down for a weird fucking comment. I'm down for you giving me like 73 paragraphs of your entire life story in some way that vaguely ties back into the video. You know, like, I am here for weird comments, just not fucking creepy ones, not ones that are going to like, don't comment about me, you know? Like, at the same time, every now and again someone will comment like, oh my god, you're so funny, your humour's great, you're such a comedian. I'm like, oh babe, thank you. If you're gonna tell me I'm funny, comment about me. And I don't know, like, that's the thing, is like, y'all, for the most part, I feel like most people know when something's fucking creepy, okay? Telling me I look pretty, telling me my hair looks nice in this video, cool, thank you, that's a lovely thing to say. Telling me I'm so sexy that it makes you, you know, don't. Just, so if it's the kind of thing you would normally comment on my video and I've never deleted your comments or blocked you, go ahead. I'd love to hear what you think about this. I'd love to hear from you. My brain is like slithering out of my ears at this point. I've been talking for so long and I've gotten myself like emotionally charged. So I am gonna just shut up and stop I don't even know where I was in the intro at this point, to be outro. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So you can follow me here, you can subscribe and like the video if you'd like to. That's always very cool. I love getting new subscribers. I love getting my videos, the little thumbs up. I don't want to be too much of a numbers bitch, but it is fun watching them go up now I actually have followers, okay? So you can do that if you want to. I also post semi-regularly over on TikTok and Instagram if you wanted to follow me there. They'll be linked down below alongside a link to my Patreon and my Ko-fi. And as always, there's no pressure to donate money to me. They are there if you want to. You do not have to, it's not expected of you. I will continue making content that people can access for free for as long as I possibly can, as long as people don't comment creepy stuff to scare me off, okay? Cool. So whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I will see you again in a couple of days.